Vegan, that's right. So, Algebra 2 lesson 32 is as follows. Please remove your water bottle from the table and place it closer to the ground level. Thank you. So, we're going to simplify stuff like this, the square root of 3/7. What we don't like is the square root in the denominator. So, how am I going to get rid of that? I'm going to multiply. Go ahead.
You do, it's an equal to the square root of 3 over the square root of 7. Right?
That is quite true. Thank you. Now, how do I get rid of the square root in the bottom? Because if I'm going to like add fractions or do anything like pleasant, I don't want a square root there. Yeah.
You multiply both by square root of 7, both the top and bottom.
Okay. So it's a fraction, so I'm allowed to multiply the top and bottom by the same thing. In this case, I'm going to multiply by the square root of 7 because the square root of 7 times the square root of 7 is the square root of 49. What's the square root of 49? 7. And the top will be the square root of 21. So that gets rid of the square root in the denominator, which is all I want to do. So I want to do that because eventually I'm going to start adding them like this. Okay? I can't add these fractions until they have the same denominator. So first step, I'm going to get rid of the square roots in the bottom. What is the first one multiplied by? The square root of 5 on the top and bottom because I multiply by whatever that is. And this one, I'm going to multiply by the square root of 2. So that gets me the square root of 10 over 5 plus the square root of 10 over 2. If you multiply any square root by itself, you just get that number. Don't put 25 there. The square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is the square root of 25, which is 5. Okay, can I add these fractions? No. Why? Bingo. They need a common denominator, which is 10. So I'm going to multiply this one by 2 and this one by 5. So 2 plus 5 is, oh dear, 2 plus 5, come on. 7 square root of 10 over 10. So that's your result. Okay, you have to, what's called rationalize the denominator first before you can move on. Perhaps that Bible study that we talked about earlier might be necessary. All right, let's try this one now. We have 3 square root of 3/7 minus 5 square root of 7/3. First step.
Wait, is that 7 over
Get rid of the denominator.
Multiply the square root of 7 over both sides. Both top and
There's
bottom.
not sides.
Top and bottom.
Okay, I must rationalize the denominator. How do I do that? On this one, I'm going to multiply by
7.
the square root of 7. This one, I'm going to multiply by the square root of 3 on the top and bottom of my fraction. I'm allowed to do that because it's the same as multiplying by 1. So this is 3 square root of 21 over 7 plus minus 5 square root of 21. I get 30 over 3. Then I need a common denominator and I'll solve. Common denominator is 21. So I'll multiply this by 3, this by 7. So I have 9 minus 35, which is like negative 26 square root of 21 over 21. See if you can reduce. You can.
Wasn't there the 3 and 5 after that?
My brain needs to grasp.
How do you reduce?
So it would be negative.
Like
No,
if
wait,
these
you don't-
numbers
you don't-
could be canceled.
You don't like, they could, or no, the 3 times 3 over, the square root of 3 over 7. They're mixed numbers. Or maybe I'm tired.
See, this is why we don't use mixed numbers because you confuse something for that as 3 and that. That's why mixed numbers are bad because you really don't know what's going on.
Maybe I'm just tired.
Unless you.
Yeah. No, they're bad.
Well, if you, is it okay if we just actually end up this?
No.
I feel like this made a lot more complicated on the last step
Everything.
for that. 'Cause you do, where is the 3 and the 3 and the 7 and the 5, what do they do?
Fold the.
Ah!
Oh, okay. See, when you show you work, I know.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
That looks cool.
Apparently they can't do nothing.
There
Okay,
you go.
moving on. All right, so that is that. See, this is how I feel when you don't show your work. All right, no, not different.
Yeah, see, but you're like super ultra smart. You like
Not true. I am just super ultra old, and therefore
Wise.
people trust me to tell you the stuff that I already know that you could know after this class. True story. So, let's look at these similar triangles. Okay, what do you notice about these similar triangles?
Yeah, one side that's exactly the
Angles are the
same.
same.
Angles are the same, that's why they're similar. This side is exactly the same. So, if even one side is the same, then the entire triangle is the same, right? If you don't believe me, 6x plus 2 over 12x plus 4, or minus 4, equals 6 over 6. This is 1, these are the same, okay? Yeah. So that's that. I'm not gonna solve that out. X equals 1, P equals 5.
Can you do 4x plus 1 equals p?
Yeah.
Okay. And do the mustache.
Same deal. So, that's your lesson. You may begin again, optional.